By my 17-year-old teenage daughter, I will give her my opinion. I said, that's a cool song. I mean, I like Florence and the Machine. I said, that's not a good song for this particular audition, because that little 25 seconds or 30 seconds that you're going to get, I don't know who you are with that song. Now, Dog Days by Florence, which I know my daughter has actually sung at, she does a lot of gigs with their peers and friends and clubs and different venues. And I've heard her sing that song. I said, if you're going to pick a Florence song, then you've got to pick something from Dog Days because it's a stronger vocal. She goes, well, I'm just going to do this one because, then if they ask me to sing another one, I'll just do the Adele. Or I said, well, they're probably not going to ask you to sing another song. And I said, okay, look. I said, this is your audition. You're going to sing what you want to sing. I'm just going to give you my opinion. My Boy Builds Coffins is not the right song choice for The Voice. So anyway, long story short, that is the song she chose to sing. I think she was, they brought them in, sat them down, said, thank you for coming. It takes a lot of, courage to come here, yada, yada, yada. Please don't ask us any questions. Just come up to the line, state the song you're going to sing. You're going to do a bridge and a chorus, and we'll either stop you or, you'll have about 45 seconds. So that the kids started to come up. I'd have to say there was one girl there who was probably mid-20s, and I know she had been talking to us prior to going in, and this was actually her fourth audition for The Voice, and she had gotten through to callbacks, which this is the initial open call. If they if you fit I believe it's a category, genre, gender, they can't have 60 Sawyers who won last year, or 25 R&B singers and 5 country or 40 rock guys. I mean, they have to have a big mix of. That's just the way that the show is cast. That's how it's going to go. And she said that this girl had said, well, yeah, this is my fourth audition, plus I've auditioned for Idol 6 times. I made it through to callbacks the last 3 times I auditioned for The Voice. But when I went to the callbacks, they stopped me there. I didn't get any further than that. They said because of nerves. So she was very honest about that. So she was in there. So I'd have to say out of the 10, and I'm just being honest, listening, watching, there was 3, including my daughter and the girl that got called back, and one other very, very talented gentleman, probably in his 30s. He was a gospel blues singer. I mean, I have to say the 30 seconds that he'd be somebody that I'd actually go to a show. If he was playing at a club, I would go and watch one of his shows. My daughter and then the other girl, believe it or not, chose another Florence and the Machine song, which was Dog Days, which was the song that I told my daughter in the morning, if you're going to do Florence, do Dog Days, because you're going to, it's just a better vocal to show in that, small period of time what you sound like and who you are. And she did a good job on it. She seemed nervous to me, and this is the girl that had already been called back a few times. She definitely wasn't as confident as some of the other. There was another child there that was fairly confident but very pitchy, flat through the entire audition. And then there was a couple young men there that were good, good-looking kids, extremely nervous, to the point that just very stiff and, probably how I would audition because I'm not a vocalist. So anyway, all 10 got through. I'd say total time in the room was certainly less than 10 minutes. She said, thank you very much for coming. We're not going to be putting anyone through in this group today. We don't feel your stage ready. Now, I thought that was a little unusual. Not that they didn't get put through, because based on my daughter's audition, she should not have gotten a call back for that particular audition. That was song choice. That just happened to be. I mean, if I was looking at that room, I probably would have put me, not knowing how they're actually really technically casting this, I probably would have put the gentleman through that did the gospel blues song, but I don't know if they're still looking for that category or exactly, how it's cast. I wouldn't have put my daughter through based on that 25 seconds. Is my daughter as good as the girl that has already gotten through 3 times? She's actually much better than the girl that has already gotten through 3 times. And in fact, they said to her, it's a no. Oh, no, they said, I can't remember what the girl's name was, so I won't say, now this is the girl that's already gotten through 3 times to callbacks, and this is her 4th voice audition. I'll think about you, so-and-so, but it's a no for now. So none of our group, went through, which obviously for parents too who are thinking of doing these long drives, or there's probably, if it's 4 cities, 2 days each, and we were the last day, maybe that's why there weren't as many people there. I'd figure the way, if it's less than 10 minutes per 10, and you've got, you can do the math in your head. If you've got 5 or 6 rooms and you're turning 10 people every 10 minutes in 6 different rooms, you can get through a lot of people per day. So I'm thinking they probably audition 8,000 people in 8 days. I would guess that's probably a low estimate. So 8,000 people, and I would wager that out of the live auditions, maybe I'm saying 100 or less get to callback status. I know that they do recruit people from YouTube, because we know people who've been recruited by The Voice. So, and there's also a lot of talent on The Voice that already have either a following on YouTube, which is huge, or some sort of have had some sort of recording contract. Judith Kim was a contestant who I like very much, but I mean, before she was on The Voice, she was already scheduled to tour with Michael Jackson before he died. Now I believe she's done an album with Prince. So a lot of these people that actually get on to The Voice, it's not like the old days in Idol where it was like basically people out of nowhere, sort of like the Olympics of singing. Now I think The Voice is more like how our NBA plays in the Olympics now. That's how I feel Voice is as far as what they're trying to do. What kind of surprises me, though, is The Voice has had virtually no commercial success, other than the judges' careers, I think, really escalating to another level. Cassidy Pope, I believe, has 1 platinum single out. The only reason I know that is because if you Google who has gone on to success, you see Cassidy Pope, which I'm not a country music. That's not my genre of choice. I do like country music, but I am not well versed in country music. But her song, I don't know, I'm thinking of the lyrics because I Googled it on YouTube. My boyfriend's passed out on the bathroom floor with the whiskey bottle next to his head. I mean, I think there's been one other girl that had some success, but basically we're going into the 9th season. There's been no commercial success coming from The Voice. And that's just being real. If you look at Idol, and I watched Idol from season 1, haven't watched it lately, and it just could be because that whole trend is just really over with. But you look at the people coming out of The Voice, even the losers coming out of The Voice they're on Broadway, you got an Oscar winner, you have a front man for Queen, you have, the Clay Aikens, you still hear about Ruben Studdard, you have Fantasia who's still doing stuff, you have, and it's not just Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood. I mean, there's been a lot of commercial success coming out of Idol, and really, honestly, and I think unless The Voice switches it up, I don't think they're ever going to come close to any kind of commercial success. What I'd recommend to parents, and the reason I really made this video, is I would strongly suggest if you have a minor, unless it's extremely convenient, again, to do a video submission. Because in the video submissions, the talent has an opportunity to talk about who they are briefly, and they have an opportunity to do 2 full songs with music. The open call or a cappella, which is normal. My daughter's also done many years of musical theater, and that's always or normally an a cappella audition. Sometimes you could have a piano accompaniment for musical theater auditions, but a lot of vocal auditions are a cappella. For the video submissions, that's what I would strongly suggest, unless you really simply don't mind. For me, it was fun. My daughter's going to be 18 in 8 months. I'm not going to be accompanying her on audition. She's going to be going off to college, probably in Europe. That's what we're looking at, schools in London. So I guess I just wanted to do something from a parent's perspective. It was a great experience, very well organized. I have to give my hats off to NBC and The Voice and the way they actually handled the auditions, because it was very, very easy. So if you're close to the city, if it's not -10, if you understand that, go in, you don't want to go in expecting to not get a call back. I'll have to say, the first thing that my daughter said when we got out of the convention center, she said, it totally was not the right song, Mom. She goes, I don't even know why I decided to sing that. I definitely should have stuck with my first two choices. She said, and this isn't honest, she's very highly critical of herself. She's not a singer that says, oh my God, I'm so awesome. She's very critical of herself. She said, the other girl that had got through a few times already, and she did a good job on Dog Days. I still think her nerves are she's not quite confident enough yet, even though she's, I think, mid-20s. She said, I can definitely sing better than that girl who got through 3 times. But I didn't pick the right song. But I had a good time. It was fun. We got out of the audition at 1:06. We were back in the parking lot. So this was a 2 p.m. call time. We got there at 11:30. We went through the whole process, and we're back in our vehicle at 1:06. So anyway, that's about all I have to say. Good experience. My daughter wants to put more things on YouTube. She's Mae Cusack, MaeCusack, on YouTube. She's got a couple performance videos that I've posted very amateurly. She did a school show. She did Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. She's got a really nice recital song, Last Love Song, ZZ Ward, on YouTube. That's about all. She has a lot of original stuff, but she said if she really wanted to pursue music, she would just focus on putting a lot more stuff on YouTube, because really that's where most of the her peers and people that I know that are into music, that's where they're looking. And I believe that's where they found last year's winner of The Voice, I think was from YouTube. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to my long, drawn-out parental view on the Voice audition. But again, I hadn't seen any parents that actually come on, and it wasn't like, oh my God, you didn't choose my child. I was joking about that in some capacity, but that's not the case. I wouldn't have put my daughter through. My daughter is like leagues above what that 20 seconds showed, and she knows that's what I said, well, so what would you do different next time? She goes, well, I'd have 20 seconds where they would definitely not be looking at their laptops. That was her comment. She goes, I could definitely get their heads out of their laptops. And she goes, and I didn't. But she had fun, and it was cool, and she went home and went out with her friends who are all going to college soon. So thank you very much for listening, and have a great afternoon.